Good morning, chemistry students. It's about 10:15 on April 20th. This is a really brief announcement about EdPuzzle and some of the grading policies that come with it. So, very quickly, let's say last week I posted the 40-minute lab video and did it through EdPuzzle. And this morning I just posted part 2 of that lab through EdPuzzle, and I told you guys we're probably going to be using that. So I wanted to show you why. I wanted to show you what I see from the teacher side of things, and I also wanted to go over some of the grading policies. So first of all, here's what I see. You're looking at a segment of my gradebook. I have a page for period 3-4, and I go to edpuzzle.com and I have a page for period 6-7. I have all the students, all 20, 25 of you in each class, as well as broken down by every assignment, how long you spent and how well you did on the embedded questions. So I'm looking at a very small segment of one of those classes to show you guys what I see. I blacked out the student names and I blacked out the period, but I wanted to show you guys what I see and how I will be using this information. So it gives me a bunch of important information. First, it tells me the time spent on the video. It tells me how long you watched it for, okay? And it also tells me how well you did on the embedded questions in each video. So from those two pieces of information, I can assign you guys a grade. All I'm going to be doing is I will be straight up using the percentage of questions you get right on the embedded questions as your daily participation classwork score. So whatever you get on the embedded questions, that will be your daily participation score for that lesson. So for these students, I know you can't see their names. So this student here would have a 77 out of 100 for online lesson 3.2, or 3.1, 3.2. This student would have a 92 out of 100, 92 out of 100. Incomplete assignments that were not done will be left incomplete for now. We're still working with Mr. Arthur on how to handle that in more detail, but rest assured you will have to do these assignments. So while they won't appear in Infinite Campus as a 0, they will be marked as incomplete, and they will be returned to you through Google Classroom and reported as incomplete. Okay, so I'm just using this column here as your participation score for that day. Okay, so right now in online learning, what we're doing, at least in my classes, is we have like classwork participation scores, which is pretty much everything we do on a day-to-day basis. And then we have assessments on Castle Learning. Those are the only 2 categories we're really using for right now for grades. So the Castle Learning is graded as an assessment, so it will really impact your grade. I think it's, look at the syllabus, but I think it's like 35 or 40% of your score. Classwork is 10% of your score. So, you know, if you're not doing tremendously well on these, it shouldn't hurt your grade too much, but it is still going to affect your grade. Okay, so I'm using this column here as your daily participation score. Let's look at a couple of scenarios as to why I'm using this and why I think this could help. I got 3 sort of case studies, and that's why I chose this section of the grade because I think it features one of each type of student that I'd really like to sort of focus on. Okay, first of all, this program, the reason I'm using this instead of just posting videos on YouTube, it tells me who's not watching the video. So this student here. So for this student is not accessing the video. They are not active. Okay, they're not engaging my content. So that's going to be a red flag for me that this is somebody who I have to follow up with. I have to call home. Mr. Arthur and Dr. Ferris and the administrators at the school, they want us, emailing them to let them know if students aren't active. So this program tells me who is and who is not watching the videos. Okay, so this student here, they don't access the video. They obviously can't answer any of the embedded questions. So that's gonna be a red flag for me as somebody who's not participating in our online learning. So that's one student. Second student, the student who perhaps opens up the video on EdPuzzle and they sort of open it up and they breeze through it really quickly. They spend the entire time watching the video, but maybe they don't watch it very closely. And as a result of them not watching the video very closely, they don't perform incredibly well on the embedded questions, meaning they get a number of those embedded questions wrong, which is why the grade shows up as a 77. That student is somebody who's maybe watching the video, but they're sort of doing other stuff. They're like on their phones, they're watching TV, they're listening to music, they're watching another YouTube video on another tab, and so they're not really following along. And every time the EdPuzzle video pauses and it prompts them for a question, they're just guessing and then they're moving on. So that's going to affect them because while, yes, they're getting the points for having opened the video and watching the video, they're not going to get a grade that's incredibly, like a high score. Okay? So that's going to hurt their grade a little bit in that way. The sort of case study here of these students that are watching the video closely and they're performing well, this should be your goal. Okay, this should be your goal. You watch the full video. Look at some of these students here in green. They're watching the whole video and they're getting a large number of the questions right. So what this means is they watch the full video and the embedded questions that are prompted to the students, these students are getting a large percentage of them correct. This is where you want to be. You want to watch the whole video and you want to get a lot of those embedded questions correct. Okay, one thing I will say is that almost all of the embedded questions are sort of relatively simple, like checks for understanding. They're like, in my eyes as a teacher, they're saying, hey, pause the video. Have you been paying attention for 90 seconds or not? Because I'm going to find out right now with this question. And I consider them really quick, short, easy questions. And if you're not getting them right, it means you're really not following along with what's happening in the video. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to watch the whole video and I want you to get a large percentage of these questions right. And I will be using your score on this assignment as your daily participation score. EdPuzzle is really awesome. It sort of automatically grades and will return your work through Google Classroom. So you should see a score between 0 and 100 on Google Classroom. The one thing I will say is that it's a little trickier to like go back and sort of resubmit work and to prompt you guys through Google Classroom because like I said, you are not required to hand in any specific exit slip anymore. Everything is done through EdPuzzle. But what I do is I go to EdPuzzle, I grade the short answer questions, it automatically grades the multiple choice questions, and then I click one button and it comes up with a grade, it throws it in Google Classroom and it sends it back to you guys. So you should see whether you did it or not. When you go to resubmit it, if you did it late or if you want to do corrections on it or whatever, I think you just go back to Google Classroom and you try to do it that way. And we'll try to figure this out as we go through. Okay, but that's what this program offers. It shows me who's watching the video and it shows me who's sort of paying attention to the video. And that was really, really important to me. Again, as I've said repeatedly now over the past week and a half, most of the videos will be less than 20 minutes long. Part 2 of the lab was 19 minutes, so it's half as long as this video. I would anticipate them even being a little bit shorter than that too. So I'd hate to give EdPuzzle a bad rap because I know that a lot of you guys were like frustrated by the length of the video and the fact that you couldn't sort of skip ahead. But for me, it's invaluable to show you guys, to show me how long you're spending watching these videos and how well you're doing on the questions. So moving forward, we will be using EdPuzzle. The videos will be shorter. Please, please, all I'm asking for, twice a week, Mondays and Wednesdays, put your headphones in, buckle up, pull up to your seat, and really give me a solid 20 or 30 minutes of your attention through these videos. Watch the videos. When they prompt you for a question, look in your notes, look in your reference table, go look it up online, like go think about it, figure it out. Actually take the time to break down the question. And when you make an answer to a question that's being prompted to you in the EdPuzzle video, make sure you've actually thought about it. Okay, and then after you click it, if you get it wrong, that's okay, because right after that, I'm going to explain what the right answer was and why. And if you made a mistake, learn from it. Copy down the mistake you made in your notes and sort of learn from it in that way. This is the only way the online learning is going to actually work, so that we're not just wasting our time. You need to take these videos seriously and answer these questions seriously. And if you get them wrong, which is totally okay, you need to learn from those mistakes so that you don't make that same mistake again. All right, that was it, guys. I wanted to go over very quickly EdPuzzle, what I see, why it's important, and what I will be doing to grade your participation scores. For now, you can expect you'll have 2 types of grades. Monday and Wednesday's assignments will be graded through EdPuzzle and Google Classroom, 0 to 100. And then every week or two, you'll have the CASEL Learning Assessment as we sort of go through unit by unit. You'll have a CASEL Learning Assignment that will be an assessment grade. So that's all we have for right now. Any questions, you guys can jump into my office hours. They've just passed. No one joined Monday today, but you're welcome to join Tuesday, Thursday at 12:30 or on Wednesday at 9:30. All right? Any questions, email me, jump in my office hours. And like I said, I look forward to seeing your work for part 2 of the lab. All right, guys, take care. Stay safe out there.